You wake up one day and realize something a little uncomfortable. All the people who are talking the loudest about winning, they've just disappeared. The ones with the bold predictions, the flashy moves, all those exciting strategies that everyone was copying. Gone.
And then you look around and see the people who just quietly kept showing up, the ones you probably barely even noticed. Well, they're calm now. They're stable. And yeah, they're ahead.
My name is Lumo, and in this explainer, we're going to dive into a difficult truth. What you're about to hear, well, it isn't going to excite you. It won't give you that rush, but it will explain, very clearly, why the boring financial path is the one that quietly wins.
So the core of the problem is really this. You were taught to chase what feels alive. You learn to connect that feeling of excitement with actual progress. You were told that if something feels slow, then it must be falling behind. If it feels boring, it's just not working. And so every single time that feeling of boredom showed up, you took it as a warning sign. You thought, something must be wrong here. And so you chased the next new idea, the next new asset, always something new, right?
But if you look closely at your own results, you'll see it. The exciting moves, they didn't really build stability, did they? They built stories, good stories maybe, but just stories. The boring moves, on the other hand, they didn't give you stories to tell. They gave you outcomes. And that difference, it's structural.
Now, here's the part that most people completely miss. There's this sort of invisible rule at play here, a fundamental law of the entire system.
Think about what that really means. Consistency feels boring to a nervous system that's gotten addicted to novelty. So the system, by its very nature, is set up to reward the exact thing you are neurologically wired to ignore. Look, if exciting strategies really created wealth, they would dominate long-term outcomes. But they don't. What do they dominate? Attention. The strategies that spread the fastest aren't the ones that compound the best. They're just the ones that feel good to talk about. There's this moment that pretty much everyone hits. It's not when they fail, but it's when they're incredibly busy. You know the feeling. You're making moves, your calendar is packed, your brain is just loud, and yet when you look at it, your net worth has barely moved it up. You tell yourself, oh, it's just part of the process. But deep down, something feels off. Why does stability feel farther away the more active you become? That's a question that really matters.
One of these drains you. The other is built to outlast you. And wealth always favors what outlasts. Boring systems are designed specifically to work without your constant emotional participation.
This whole thing, it isn't about intelligence, it's about psychology. Slow, predictable gains, they feel invisible to us. You don't feel any smarter, you just feel, bored. And that boredom triggers doubt, which is what leads most people to abandon systems that were actually working just fine.
But there's an even deeper barrier here. This isn't just about psychology, it's about your identity. The real challenge is about how you see yourself in this whole process. And that feeling, it scares people. It removes the illusion that your constant, hands-on decision-making is what's creating the results. It forces you to accept that sometimes stepping back is actually more powerful than stepping in.
This is the uncomfortable choice you have to make. And most people, they choose the first one, not because it works better, but because it feels better.
Okay, this is the critical shift. So many people believe that boredom is a problem you need to solve. It isn't. It's a signal. Exciting strategies, they keep you entertained. Boring systems, they keep you solvent. Let's talk for a second about the biggest enemy of long-term wealth. It's not risk, it's impatience disguised as intelligence. You tell yourself you're just optimizing, improving, adapting.
But what you're often just doing is resetting the clock. The real loss doesn't come from a few bad decisions. It comes from the abandoned ones. It's the accumulated loss of all that time you spent restarting.
Boring systems only ask one thing of you, just stay. And that is psychologically so much harder than trying something new. Trying something new feels hopeful. Staying just feels dull. But here's the thing. Hope doesn't compound. Systems do.
The truth is, the boring path wins because it removes you from the equation. It's built on the assumption that you will lose interest, so it doesn't require your interest. It assumes you will have doubts, so it doesn't require your confidence. All it requires is time. Now, this doesn't mean you just stop thinking. It means you make these three fundamental shifts. You build systems that are designed to work even when you're tired, or you're distracted, or you're uninspired. That is the silent, resilient path.
If there is one shift you take away from all this, let it be this one. Stop asking if a strategy feels exciting. Ask this instead. This one single question filters out almost everything that isn't built to last.
Let me leave you with one final thought. The strategies that feel boring today are often boring because you've already had all the uncertainty removed. The strategies that feel exciting, they're usually exciting because uncertainty is still doing all the heavy lifting.
If this changed how you think about progress, about patience, or even about trust, subscribe for clarity. And in the comments, let me know what shifted in your own thinking.